Welcome to the Future of Customer Service podcast. I'm Andrea Paulton from Inbenta, and I will be interviewing customer support and service professionals to see what is currently working well, what issues they're trying to overcome, and the future success of customer service. Today, we have Stephen Bourdou from Continental Aerospace Technologies. Thank you so much for being here, Stephen. Can you tell us a little bit about what actually you do for Continental Aerospace Technologies?
Sure. So I'm the global director of global customer support. So I oversee the teams in the US on the customer service, customer support side, as well as technical support and warranty. We also have a set of teams in Germany to handle those regions, and then also a team in China. So overseeing all three of all the global regions, but segmented into the three regions. That's how we have it set up in the company.
Nice. Do you ever get to go to Germany? Because I'm from Germany. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes. Pre-COVID, many times.
Oh, I know. Yes, and we're definitely going to have to talk about COVID a little bit because before we started this interview, Stephen and I were talking offline about some changes that they have to do because of these crazy times right now. So Stephen, I have 5 questions for you, and I want to start with question number 1. Okay. What have you done to promote great customer service at Continental Aerospace Technologies?
So the big thing for me is the customer touch. The human touch, human factor. So the aerospace industry is very set in its roots, and they're used to talking to someone, getting the feedback they're looking for, all those type of things. And to do that, you got to have a team that is just as passionate about providing the best customer service. So it's building the team, building that groundwork, then integrating the team globally. So we have the team in Germany and the team in the US and then the team in China, and they operated really like 3 silos when I came in, and we broke those silos down immediately. So they interact together, they hand off projects together. So if you have a deep technical research type thing to get to a project to get to a customer, they're having an engine issue, by handing it off, we can continue working technically around the clock, but the teams are working normal hours. So it's that work-life balance that we're able to provide and driving that customer touch. Those are the big key factors that I push in my team.
That's really good. And let me ask you about the silos, because that happens so often when you have an international company like yours. You said you broke it down immediately. What was one of the big steps? How did you break it down?
Bringing the teams and putting them in their uncomfortable spot, so to speak. So I brought a couple Germany team members for 3 weeks in the US, and I put a couple US team members in Germany. Now the US team members, when I said who wants to go to Germany, everyone's hand raised. When you go to the German team and ask who wants to go to the US, I got no volunteers. It's just that it's the culture, and it's very fascinating. I've worked with, in my past life, I worked with a company that was Germany owned, Germany based. And so I'm very versed with it. I was with them for 7 years. So it's a very interesting facet of how it all works. But once you got them into each area, within a day or two, they were excited. They started, this is how, I didn't realize you guys did all of this. Oh, look at all this you have access to. And so it was a very fascinating, eye-opening experience, even for me, because I wasn't sure how it was really going to go. Just knowing that they were very standoffish about going. And then my other thing is how is the Germany team going to respond to the US team working in, so to speak, their silo? And but it was great. The teams worked great together. It was very rewarding on all sides.
That's good. And I'm glad you just made them do it, because that's what, sometimes you just need to make somebody do it, and then they see the benefits of it. Cool. So I know right now, especially, but in general, a lot of companies have limited resources when it comes to customer service. How's your organization managing the lack of time and resources in your customer support department?
Yes, resources are very tight here as well. We call it the lean and mean initiative, right? So we're lean, we have to be lean, but we got to be still pushing for the answers and pushing to get that customer what they expect. So So it's a very delicate balance. We're able to do it with the team we have. They put in extra time as needed, and they really have become very efficient. So, a few things we implemented was a new phone system that's really helped out. That implemented right before COVID. It was December of 19. It allows us to, much greater visibility. It's a typical call center type system with just all kinds of options. So we're able to utilize that. That helps us with a lot more with the visibility, our call volume, making sure we don't miss anything, assisting with us. Because again, when you're leaning out, things can fall through the cracks. If you had so we get, in the US, we get about 60% of our customer service traffic is via email, actually. It's higher than, and it's progressing year over year, higher into the email than phone. You go to the Germany side of the fence, and they're about 80% email versus phone.
Oh, they have more. I'm surprised by that. I thought there'd be more phone.
No, and the reason for that, one of the biggest drivers for that is email. You're dealing with multiple languages in Europe, and English is really the universal language in aviation. So email, people can read it easier than speaking it. So they are more comfortable putting it in an email. So that's been one of the biggest drivers. And the same with the German team, to be able to respond in English. Obviously, if it's within Germany, they speak German, but 90% of their responses are in English because they're English questions. So it was really fascinating to see that, because I was with you. I figured it would be a lot more of the phone and more of the touch, that side of it, but it's not. It's email. And then in China, it's actually almost flip-flopped. It's mostly calls. It's still very high relationship, that customer touch point by voice versus email. So that's almost a total flip. It's 20% email and 80% phone. So and they do a lot more on-site stuff. Obviously, everything has been limited, but because of that touch that's needed in the Chinese market. So very fascinating on that side.
Yeah, that is fascinating. So now that you have China, you have America, you have Germany, how do you measure success of your customer service organizations globally? And then do you do anything different locally?
Yeah, so we've tested different surveys, like a Survey Monkey and things like that, and we just don't get the response. We've even tried to do some giveaways to get them to engage, and we do it at the big trade shows too. You almost have to force feed them to get them to use it. The only time I find that they're volunteering to use it is if they're not happy. So
yes.
So our measurement is actually just direct feedback from our customers, because they'll tell the distributor. So we're a distribution model as far as how we move our product. That they'll feed back to the distributor, and then that gets back around to us, or the platforms that we're in, the aircraft that we're in, the OEMs themselves will be providing us feedback that this. And we honestly have received proportionately more positive feedback than normal. Not that we're doing great things, which I think we are. I just think people are, because of the COVID times, are more willing to give that positive feedback because they know the challenges, because they're probably facing the same challenges in either their business or their life or whatever. So we do see that, and don't get me wrong, we always have the challenge ones that we have to tackle too, but we have seen an uptick in the response, just in actual feedback going through the channels coming back to us, not through like a Survey Monkey or something like that.
Yeah. It's so hard to get people to fill things out like that. And you're right. I mean, it's the negative, obviously, because they just want to be heard, that usually get more of. Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit about AI, artificial intelligence. Offline, before we started, we talked a little bit about what your company's doing. But as a customer service professional like yourself, I just want to know in general, what is your thinking with customer service and artificial intelligence? Like, how is it changing customer support?
So we were actually marching that way, as we discussed earlier offline, with the new CRM, and then integrating the AI and be able to use those type of tools to help offload the team, because again, you got to be lean. But of course, we're not the only ones in the, out there in the industry. When COVID hit, you got to cut, and those projects were cut. And so we're still on our base platforms, and moving that way forward. But we were going to utilize AI. It was a long journey to get there, but it was a step-by-step implementation. But what we were headed towards is being able to get the new CRM system fully embedded in the system, and then move to an AI that would be able to go in our ERP if the customer says, "Hey, I'm looking on tracking and to understand where my package is." That say they put in that request. I'm using a simple one, and as long as they got the sales order number and the PO number with the account name, the AI would match it all up and be able to send the tracking information, and the customer service agent never even touched it. Those tools are very interesting for us. The couple of the hiccups were going to be is the language barriers. Was it going to be able to read, what we call simple English, that is in translation versus typical English. So those were things we were going to test out. We just never got there. I don't see it in the 21 platform either, because COVID has drug out so long. We don't know where's the end point. At least my perspective, I don't see it yet. Yeah, we're starting to open up, but I don't see that comfort level and that confidence level that say, hey, looks like we're finally going to be over the hurdle in December. We're waiting for vaccine, we're waiting for this. You hear all these different pinpoints, and then on top of that, you got an election year. So where is it all going to land? So it's not in our budget for 2021 right now. The AI, and we're doing great things with what we have. That's the key, right? You still got to figure out a way to get to that, use that customer touch point. So we think it's a fascinating tool. We want to implement it. It's just gotten pushed down the road a little bit because of COVID and the stance we are today.
Yeah. So that's something that we've been hearing so much, right? Every company somehow is either hurt or something got changed because of COVID. Do you have any projections at all? And how, did it take 6 months out of your business, a year? How much do you think is going to actually, in time, does COVID hurt your business?
Yeah, so as far as a business, we're very fortunate, and that it has impacted, but not to the point that a lot of other businesses have been impacted. The sales team, the production team on the floor, they've all done great things and be able to keep us running and keep the lights on, and we're pushing that forward. The shift is, for me, my opinion is the shift's going to be is once there's a comfort level in the public on this thing's getting behind us, things really starting to open up. Once that customer confidence comes back, it will ramp up. And I think it's going to ramp up quick. I truly do, because people can, I witnessed it when the state opened up after the lockdown, and it was like a free for all. I can go to a restaurant. Restaurants were lined out the door, and they can only take 50%, but there was people willing to wait 2 hours just to be able to sit down and have someone serve them and have great food in that atmosphere, but also to support that small business that's been struggling too. So there was there's multi-step factors there that people are being passionate about. So I think once this is behind us, we're really going to see a nice rise. When it's going to happen, I don't have that magic 8-ball. My predictions were off. I thought we would be over this in the fall and be able to start moving forward and figure this out, and what our path was for 2021 and beyond. But that's not, obviously we're here and it's not there. So
yeah. And let me ask you one last COVID question. I feel like we're talking a lot about this, but it's so timely and it's so important, and so many companies are struggling with this. What's the difference between China, Germany, and the US, and how they're dealing with COVID? Is one company slowed down even more than the other because of the region, or is it all pretty similar?
It's actually very different. Great question. So China, it opens up for, pretty much 80%, and then there's another spike, and it closes right back down like a door shuts. So it's been up and down, and it's all regionalized in China. That's what we've been seeing, but the team's been able to do really good through, just being able to contact through phone and video chat and all this other stuff to make sure they're being served. But yeah, you see that big fluctuation in China. In Germany, it dropped off, the shutdown, and then slow ramp up, and it hasn't shifted since. it's on a very gradual reopening. The teams are able to travel to other regions on obviously company policies. We have a very strict travel policy right now and approval process, but they're able to go to our OEMs and our top customers and support them as they're opening up. So we see that in Germany. So that, and it's very regionalized as far as where they're traveling to, neighboring countries and stuff. But we see a definite nice get back to normal swing happening over there. In the U.S., as you know, it's state by state, and we're fortunate in the state of Alabama, and the cases have been lower, and they keep dropping, and we're opening up here. Travel is very restricted, but we, as need basis with approvals, we can get to somewhere. We also have the fortunate thing of having our own small GA plane, since we're a GA company. So if it's within a 300, 400 mile, we don't have to fly commercial. We can get in the plane with a corporate pilot and get there. So those are some advantages we have to get to do that. So, but it is all three different. So managing that with the teams and making sure, with these, if we got a very sensitive, what we call an AOG, aircraft on the ground project or something like that, with getting a customer back up in the air, and we have to hand it off to other teams to help us out, that we're managing that expectation, because they're at a different opening point than we are. So it's challenging, but the teams really pulled through. They've done, like I said, great things, and I can't commend them more, because I was definitely a little stressed out that, we're lean. We don't have the new systems in place. We were barely getting by with what we had before, with the staff we had before, and because we knew we were getting to the new systems, and we've pulled it off quite well. So
that's awesome. That's really good to hear. I mean, it's so hard right now. And the agility that is happening, even with big companies that are usually not agile, that are right now, they're being like really agile, has just been an awesome to see, because we're doing things that are so new and so different all of a sudden, using different tools. And it's definitely been interesting to see. And it's going to be awesome on your resume.
It was very interesting, when you tell the team, all right, everyone's going to work remote from home starting Monday. So, and it's Thursday afternoon. So start setting up, packing up your desk, get what you need, put in an IT request for a monitor if you need it, get your docking state. I mean, it was just, and then Monday it was like, all right, are you set up? Is everything working right? I can't come over there and just, make sure everything's good for you. So we're walking through, and here comes FaceTime. So because they're on their laptops, so we're FaceTiming each other, so I can see what they're looking at. Know that, try resetting this, getting this going. I can't get on the call center. So IT had their hands full, but we pulled it off. They worked remote for 3 months, and it's
good.
The teams are back in the office now, and getting back into that cross-functional mode that we were always in. So, but it's been quite an experience.
Great. That's a good way to put that. Quite an experience. All right. Last question for you, Stephen. What is the number one advice you have for customer service departments?
Don't give up the good fight. Utilize what you have. Encourage your team. Your team is key, right? If you can get them the same passion you have to be successful as a department, as a company, that's what's going to drive it. Everyone always seems to focus on the customer, but put more focus in the team, because they are stressed out. They have their own concerns. Whether, are they the next one to get laid off if we don't turn this company around? There's a lot of personal angst in there, and the best thing you can do is support them, and then let them support your customers, because you're all one team. It's a core thing. A lot of people forget about it in crisis mode, because they're all focused on getting the customer, and then they skip on the team, and then not supporting the team will impact your customers more so than just focusing on it. So again, as I can't stress it enough, focus on the team, make sure they're taken care of. You're giving them all the tools they need to be successful, and that's what's going to make your department successful.
Yeah, love that. That's really great. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. This podcast was brought to you by Inbenta. Inbenta Symbolic AI implements natural language processing that requires no training data with Inbenta's extensive lexicon and patented algorithms. Check out this robust customer interaction platform for your AI needs, from chatbots to search to knowledge centers and messenger platforms. Just go to our website to request a demo at inbenta.com. That's INBENTA.com. And if you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe to this podcast and leave us a review. Thank you.